Hey folks, it's Jim, it's Julie, it's Geeking Out episode 234. I think. But
for some reason I was thinking 240 something, but I think I'm wrong.
Well, it's been a lot of episodes,
yeah,
so
200 and something mumble number.
Mumble. Yes, but welcome to the show. We've got 6 more comic book reviews to add to your long box or to add to your wood burning pile.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and let's start it off with a good comic for one. Guardians of the Galaxy 0.1.
Yep. So, Marvel is relaunching Guardians of the Galaxy. And
I wonder why they're doing that.
Could it be because they're doing a whole line of relaunches?
Could be, but maybe it's because there's some sort of
movie
projected image on a big screen coming? I don't know.
So, this was a really, really good book.
I will agree wholeheartedly. It looks beautiful.
Mm-hmm. I'm starting this week with my pick of the week. And in this book, I did my review last night and I forgot to take notes. So you guys are going to have to bear with me.
We're going off the cuff here for
Yep.
Julie's reviews.
My apologies to everybody. So in this book, this follows Quill. Sam Quill, I believe. I'm going to very quickly check that while I'm talking. It talks
This is live, people. This is what we do.
This book follows him and how he comes to be a guardian of the galaxy. It talks about how his father from Spartax came and crash landed on Earth and met his mother and repaired his ship. And then it talks about how the terrible alien race, which I believe remains unnamed in this book, comes and kills his mom and blows up his house, leading him to spending...
That seems like the alien thing to do.
Yep. So he looks at his life and he says to himself, well, other people are fighting against outside forces. I'm going to protect Earth. And he gathers himself a crew to do such a thing, including...
Working store people.
Yes. Including a member of the Avengers, which I am not going to name. I really, really, despite my terrible review, I did enjoy this book. It is my pick of the week.
It's a lot of fun.
And the art is beautiful. I feel like the art is...
It's probably the strongest art this week.
I'm gonna say it's up there on this week's reviews for art.
Yeah.
Go out, give it a try. The number 1's coming out soon. Get yourself prepared and ready for the movie, because this is a good book. It's you don't want to miss it.
Alright, next up, we have a book from a couple weeks back. We have Transformers, Spotlight Megatron. And in this one, revived and reformatted, Megatron returns to find his Decepticon forces in tatters and disarray, due to Starscream's leadership.
Oh no, not Starscream screwing things up!
Who would have thunk that would happen?
Never would have imagined it.
Anyway, now Megatron must rally his troops and also take care of some personal business with Starscream. Alright, so if you want to see a beatdown with Megatron and Starscream, this is the book for you.
The art, I really
This is Nick Roach. Nick Roach doing the art here, and he's one of the best Transformers artists.
I'm going to agree.
Simply fantastic Transformers art in this, and the simple fact that you get a really good Starscream Megatron beatdown is always great, because just Starscream has completely given up. And he just wants Megatron to kill him.
Oh, really?
And Megatron's like, no, I'm going to make you suffer.
Nice.
So, I enjoyed this. If not just because Megatron's trying to push Starscream into, well, getting back to who he's supposed to be.
Which is his second in command, right?
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yeah. And I enjoy that the power play is shown.
Nice.
And just why Megatron doesn't trust anyone.
Well,
so,
I'm sorry, if you're a bad guy, I don't know how you could expect to trust other bad guys.
Yeah. especially when they're all trying to take your job. Alright, so if you are a Transformers fan, this one fits into the whole overarching storylines in the 2 ongoing series right now. So do check this one out. This was a lot of fun.
Next up for me is Morbius, the Living Vampire #1. This one came out a couple of weeks ago. #2 just released last week, actually. So this is about 5 weeks old.
Yeah, and we just haven't had a chance to get to it yet, so...
So, I'm going back in time and we're reviewing it now. This book was not a lot of fun.
We best warn people about the gigantic winter storms coming if we're back in time.
Touché, sir. Well done.
And we better pick those lottery numbers that will win.
I like winning lotto numbers. So, this book follows Morbius after his escape from prison in Amazing Spider-Man 699 and 699.1.
Yeah. Excuse you.
If you're looking for the Morbius backstory, his full origin, you want Amazing Spider-Man 699.1. But this one picks up as Morbius is trying to keep himself on the straight and narrow, keep away from the superheroes. Deep down inside...
Not drink anyone's blood.
Deep down inside, he's trying to be a good guy.
Who drinks blood?
It's a side effect. So it gives you a good introduction to what Morbius can and cannot do, the aspects of vampirism that he does and does not have. But that's about the only good thing the story does.
Yeah, there's a lot of holes in this plot. And
I'd say the plot starts around 80% of the way through, and then they come back around, except that they failed to come back around. I read the book last night, and the first thing that I thought was, I don't really understand. But if you enjoy Morbius and are willing to give it a second read, then I do recommend this book for you. But it does require a second read, I think, to be able to put all of the points together in a cohesive roundabout story. And I didn't have the patience for it, I'm going to be truthful. Because,
and I'll be honest, the art was not spectacular.
That's part of why I didn't want a second read.
Yeah, it was not great.
No, it's not terrible.
No, it's not terrible.
There are worse art books that
Which we will be getting to in just a couple minutes.
But if you like Morbius, give it a chance. And I'll be right back.
Alright, since Julie's going off and doing store business, I will handle 5 weapons #1, and this is my pick of the week. And in this one, 13-year-old Tyler finds himself in a specialized school where assassins send their kids to get training in one of the 5 deadly weapons. Tyler has no weapons, but he intends to beat everyone and every weapon master in the school with his razor-sharp mind. So...
Ender?
Yeah, I would. No. Alright, so basically Tyler's parents are the world's most well-known assassins.
Oh.
And they have sent their child to this school to learn the 5 deadly weapons.
To learn the
and
family
arts.
trade?
Yeah. And... Well, here's the thing. He doesn't want to use weapons. He wants to use his mind. So, this one is a lot of fun. The art by Jim and story by Jimmy Robinson is fantastic here, and I simply cannot adore it enough. I highly recommend it. If you want to check it out, please do. It's actually a lot of fun, and it's got some very interesting characters. And we're back. Sorry about the technical derpyculties. When we last left off, I was talking about 5 weapons #1. And Julie's back now from customer service, and hey, continuity error, she's now in a sweater.
I got cold. It's still February in Canada.
And it's very cold in Canada. So.
Yes.
Alright, so...
Next up for me is Batman Incorporated #8.
Oh boy.
And in this issue, Talia al Ghul has kidnapped Batman and is holding him in Wayne Tower. She has also taken complete control of Wayne Tower, and it is up to Red Robin, Nightwing, and the new Robin, Damian Wayne, to get Batman back. Okay, there's the business part of it. Here's the spoiler alert, because this is my opinion.
Spoilers.
Spoilers, 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 spoilers.
You've been warned.
I hated this book.
As did I.
Absolutely hated it. The art is terrible in it.
The art is abysmal and just plain ugly.
They've given every single character in the book the squarest Superman jaw I've seen in my life. Even characters that are supposed to be, you know, kind of pretty, lithe.
Nightwing looks like a bad Bruce Campbell impersonator.
Mm-hmm. Everybody is like
ugly.
Superman. I did not like the art. Also, I think, DC, that your timing on this book is terrible, because we have just come out of Death of the Family, and I recognize that Grant Morrison is not tied into Death of the Family in any way, shape, or form, and he had his own timing, but DC as a company, I think you've really dropped the ball, because you hyped up Death of the Family as a death every issue. You promised us the ability to choose who would die next. You did not provide that, and you did not provide a single death. It makes me feel really morbid saying that, but you can't give us...
Yeah, when you have a storyline called Death in the Family,
Death
there should...
of the Family.
Yeah.
And I'm
there
sorry...
should at least be one death.
I'm sorry, you can suggest that Death of the Family pertains not to a physical death, but a metaphysical death in the breakup of the Bat family, but I call malarkey on that, because if you read Red Hood 17, you're going to see that every single part of the Bat family gathers at Wayne Manor. You've got Arsenal in the front yard teaching Damian how to play football. You've got Nightwing hiding from Starfire.
Which should have been our first clue that something terrible was going to happen.
Granted, I'll accept that.
Any time something good starts happening to a character, or they start having joy and everything, then they generally will kill that character. It's an old trope, but it's true. And it still is how they do things.
But you can't set up a very major, is something going to happen to Jason Todd in Red Hood and the Outlaws, and then turn around and the week after kill off Robin, after you've already used the stereotypical Batman holding Robin's broken body on the cover of Red Hood and the Outlaws 17.
Yep.
And in the final panel, and then turn around and use it as the final panel again in another book.
It's utter and complete BS.
I really hate that they did this.
Not to mention, they didn't even inform anyone.
Yeah, retailers didn't get to know before.
The book is completely sold out. You can't get it.
Yeah.
It's now worth, what, $20 or so? And there's maybe a second printing on the way, but...
And I just really feel
why not at least inform retailers about this possible storyline?
That they could have done that. I'm upset with DC for that from a retailer, but as a comic reader and a comic enjoyer, I think the timing on this is terrible, and I really hated the art.
It was just abysmal.
And you're giving us a big story, a plot point like this, something that you know there's going to be tens of people, tens of hundreds of people who are going to rush out to their comic store knowing nothing at all about comics, wanting this issue so that they can collect it,
just
or
because
wanting
it's
it for their kid.
Death of Robin. And yeah, we know he's gonna be back. That's what they always do. As stupid as that is, to bring characters back who are dead, but
they don't give us a
also
recap.
a superhero trope.
My beef here that I would like to make is that they didn't give us a recap.
Yeah.
Nothing. Not a single thing giving us a reason why they would be calling Robin Leviathan. Not anything to help us in the story. So, yeah. I really hated this book. This is probably the only time you're ever going to hear me say, I hate this book.
And the art really doesn't help that matter. It is just plain ugly, and it does not help in the least. There are just messes of panels in this book.
Yeah.
Just messes of panels.
It's ugly, and they rushed this story. They did a big, heartfelt scene on one page in a series of very small panels. And
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like the way that they did it.
If it's supposed to elicit an emotion, it doesn't work when the art can't define that emotion either.
Unless the emotion you're going for is hatred, then it does work.
Well, yeah,
but not for the reason they wanted.
I'd rather not have my vitriol spinning at this thing. But when you're supposed to have a death of a character that you're supposed to care about, and the art cannot define that
At all.
it doesn't work, and it really messes with the message of the book.
I feel like you've dropped the ball on this one, guys. I really, really do. So, to go back, this is Batman. For those of you who skipped the spoilers, I'm giving you a clue here that we're back. I didn't like the book.
Yeah.
It's bad, the art's bad, and I really don't have much more to say on it than that.
Yeah, we don't recommend it.
Nope.
Alright, so instead of vitriol, let's end on a happy note.
Yes.
With some nerdiness here with the pages and the comics and the such. It's Professor Frink, fantastic science fiction. Alright. And this one has 3 stories, and in the first one, Professor Frink creates a cool formula that accidentally gets dumped into the water supply, turning everyone, except the nerds, into hipsters.
I take the nerds, thank you kindly.
Yep. Then, Frink creates a problem of biblical proportions when various mutant fish, and finally, Frink and Bart discover that they found themselves trapped in the 3rd dimension. Alright. So, if you're a Simpsons fan, you're gonna enjoy this. This is a good way to get into the Professor Frink character. You know, with the Glaven and the hey. It's fun, it's funny, it's your typical Simpsons type comic. And there's a 3D story as well. You get 3D glasses in the book.
And if you turn the book around,
there's a nice 3D poster on the back. But do check this one out. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Alright. So, that brings us to the end of another episode. Next week, join us as I delve into the Cats of Tanglewood Forest. Yes, we're actually reviewing a novel. So do check us in with us next week. We will see you later. Have a good one, and don't read Batman Inc.